What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for a preview. We play on a Tuesday, almost Champions League feeling. But we play tomorrow. We play on a Tuesday, and we play against a team where actually our season kind of kickstarted because we got dunked on, I guess, 4-2 away to Sassuolo, and that's where I think everybody thought, oh, here we go again, basically. It's going to be one of those seasons again. It's the same thing over and over again. It wasn't like in that game, a lot of weird things happened. You know, Chesney's own goal, Gatti's own goal, just a bad performance in general. And after that game, everything flipped. You know, Allegri changed some things, went back to extreme basics, some might say, and we started going on a big run. I guess the run that's still ongoing at this moment in time. You know, we're still unbeaten for I don't know how many games now. 15 is it? No, it's not 15. I think, or is it 15? Could be. I don't even know anymore. However, uh, back to Sassuolo, and I see a lot of people already thinking, okay, this is where it's gonna end again. I think Allegri's presser was kind of focused on that as well. That they scored 4 goals on us. They outplayed us that game. Allegri said something that Sassuolo play better away from home. You know that they play good against the top teams basically. So he's kind of cautious for that game, and we should be because I don't know what it is with Sassuolo, but somehow, some way, they always make it tough on teams as well. So we're gonna go over the presser. We're gonna go over some stats from Sassuolo because I thought they were having an even worse season compared to last season, and well, it isn't. Actually, last season was poor as well at this point, or like for their set standards, I'm guessing, or perception they created over the last I don't know how many years when they came up. Is it like 8-9 years now that they're up back in the league? So that's what we're gonna talk about. Let's get straight into liking the video. Let's set the goal for a preview at 40. You know, very easy. So hit that like button if you're rewatching as well, and let's get straight into what Allegri had to say because he had quite a few things to say. Uh, he was obviously asked about the game. He said, "We understand the importance of tomorrow's match against Sassuolo, who scored 4 goals against us. They possess great technical qualities and a strong team dynamic. Securing 3 points tomorrow is crucial. We need to concede little and maintain our enthusiasm." Obviously, the points. Hi, everybody in the chat, by the way. Obviously, we need the 3 points. Inter won against Monza. I don't think Inter played this weekend. Is that correct? I think the Supercoppa starts on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Thursday, Friday. So they're not going to play. I don't know when their game in hand will be played. So you win, you go 2 points, and you have on the weekend, excuse me, a chance to go actually top. You know, yes, with Inter having a game in hand, but putting pressure on them, especially heading into that February game. Even if it's with a game in hand, it's still something to put some pressure on Inter. So we need to win, obviously, tomorrow. Sassuolo, again, they won. They scored 4 goals against us. I get that, but when you look back at that game, actually we scored 2. You know, the Gatti one, last minute, it happened. You know, whatever, the game was over by then. But the Chesney one, like, you gifted them goals as well. So you can say they scored 4 on us, and they did, but 2 of them were just gifts you expect not to do anymore because those were ridiculous gifts. You know, they're actually like own goals at this moment, at that point, excuse me. So you do not expect to repeat that one tomorrow, or you're assuming you're not repeating that one on tomorrow. Excuse me. But yeah, stay focused. Like, we haven't won anything, by the way, because it's a good start to the season. I agree with him in that regard that just stay calm, you know, just stay focused because we have done absolutely nothing at this point. Like, absolutely nothing. The only thing is that we are having probably a better season than, I don't know, 90% of the fan base was assuming. So that's what we have going. But other than that, we have absolutely done nothing still. Um, Then he talked about the goals, and the goal is top four. He said, I didn't put it in the quotes, but he said like Inter are built already over the last couple of years. We are building for what's about to come, so we shouldn't be focusing on the Scudetto and whatever. Like you can say that, but your players already call you a liar, basically in the indirectly, not intentionally, but the players giving interviews talking about Scudettos, talking about we believe in winning the title, talking about we started the season with top four as our goal. However, we're in this position now. We're Juve. We need to go for it. So Allegri can say all these things about the title. Well, the players call you out because the players are telling you this is ain't it. Top four, fine, but that was August. I don't know, 25th of August when we kickstarted the season. Excuse me. It's now mid-January. We're 2 points off the top. Five. With a game in hand, obviously tomorrow. Yes, all good and well. Top four is the goal, but you're in a potential title race, and you need to act up for it because at the end of the day, it's still Juve you're coaching. Like it's not Bologna you're coaching. He said, we are aware that many points are still needed for our objectives. We must continue taking one step at a time. We have grown in awareness, both collectively and individually, in terms of technical and physical aspects. However, we must proceed with caution. Football thrives on balance. Like I said, I do agree with him. We didn't win anything this far, so whatever is happening now, we just need to keep it moving and hope that we can stretch this winning or like not losing streak, like positive streak, as long as possible. At least into that Inter game and beyond when they kickstart their Champions League campaign again, and let's see what happens then. But balance is needed because after that Salernitana game that we won in the Coppa Italia, everybody was over the moon, and then I said that's probably gonna be gone when we play them in Serie A again, and we won late, but like the feeling wasn't the same. What the hell is up on my light? The feeling wasn't the same as we were as when we beat them in the Coppa Italia. And when balance, that's a good word because balance comes also into play when we talk about transfers. Because up to a couple of weeks ago, nobody was talking about Miretti, and now everybody's hyping up Miretti. So even in that regard, balance is needed. Oh, I did put the quote in there. He said, we need to focus on our journey without obsessing over winning the title. We are Juve, aiming to maximize our potential while also considering the future of this team in the coming years. Well, the future of the team is hopefully winning. So if you can potentially win this season, you'll take it. I think, Perin, Chesney, I'm probably forgetting a few other players, but it's Perin, Chesney, I think Rabiot said it as well. Vlahovic touched on, we're in a title race, so we should be competing for it. You start the season, top four, fine. Mid-January, you're up there, you go for it. That's just the obligation. Actually, at any team, but especially if the team was Bologna and they were in our situation, I get Bologna players coming out and saying, well, we will see. Actually, the goal was maybe finishing in European places, but we're here, we enjoy it, whatever. I get that, but you're Juve. You started the season with a goal. You're back now. You go for it. That's just the obligation you absolutely have. He said, at the moment, we've earned these points because the team has values and cohesion. In May, we will see where we stand in the standings, and our position will reflect what we have deserved. Well, yeah, facts. Like the last couple of years, we also got what we deserved, and that was, nothing, basically. And then he wrapped it up saying, Sassuolo often has stronger performances away, so we need to be very cautious. We start the second half of the season from scratch, knowing it will be much more challenging than the first part. I do agree with him. I think I've been saying it for quite a few previews now, or shows, that you play Roma on the road, you play Lazio on the road, excuse me, Inter, Napoli, like Bologna, like quite tough. Like those teams are up there. You play those teams on the road, so it is gonna be tougher the next couple of months, basically, because you had a lot of those games at home. So it will be more difficult. I 100% agree with that as well, because we did what we had to do. We beat all those teams besides Inter at home. I think we failed to beat. I guess we beat Lazio, we beat Napoli, we Milan away from home. We didn't beat Inter, so we did what we had to do. But now it's a different story. It is a different story. Um, but yeah, no excuses again. Now let's take a look at a few interesting things. Also, people who are just joining, excuse me, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new, but especially like the video. The goal is 40 likes. But let's take a look at a few things. So the green is the green and the blue. Man, I'm so confused now. It's just an overlay of our season compared to Sassuolo's season. Excuse me. I'm not gonna go into field tilt because I read what field tilt means, and wow, like that's a stat that I'm probably not gonna use ever, because it was very confusing. It was very confusing, and it was very pointless in my opinion. At the end of the day, like a lot of stats are pointless. However, look at the difference. You know, quite goal conceded, shots conceded. It's well, it's big. That's where the difference is. But funnily enough, other than that, the teams are very similar. You know, forget about field tilt, but shots, goals, crosses, long balls, it's like possession, like it's all very similar to Sassuolo. The only big difference is they have much less talent than us. Like we have a lot more talent than they do, and defensively they're a very poor side. That's the big difference. But other than that, you know, they are very similar to us. You know, they are a team that they don't have a lot of possession. They, funnily enough, I looked it up, by the way. The shots compared to the average they had the last couple of seasons, the drop off was insane. It was crazy. Like the drop off was unbelievable. Usually, you do not expect that with Sassuolo, because they're actually a very good side, but they had a drop off in their playing style, which comes with coach changing, obviously losing players, all those things. So it's normal, but the drop off in that regard has been significant in my opinion. So that's that. That's that. But if you look at this, it's very similar. Besides the goals conceded, and you do expect to concede quite a lot of goals. You know, being a Sassuolo team. So that's that. Now let's look at non-penalty XG, and I was shocked. Like, I was shocked because I do expect Berardi to be that guy, and we've seen him being that guy, because well, he did it. He did it against us. He did it in other games, and the funny thing is, usually when we play Sassuolo, he's never fit. He's always injured, or he's suspended, or whatever, but somehow, some way, he is always out of the game. Now, apparently, he's fit, and that XG is what it is. Now, if you look at it with ours, excuse me, the Vlahovic one, the Chiesa one, the Milik one, they're all higher, which it should be, you know, playing for Juve, in my opinion. But they're all on pace to kind of do their XG. The only difference is, I think only Vlahovic will play tomorrow. And from what I've seen, unless I'm mistaken, because I've not checked the last couple of hours, so all of the other players are going to be there. That's the big difference. For us, it's only going to be Vlahovic. Yeah, this is this the Sassuolo one is it's quite impressive and non-impressive at the same time, because they do, like, on their day, they do create enough chances. They absolutely do. They also concede a lot of chances, as you can see. And if you look it up in whatever in the stats, just in the goals and whatever, you see they concede a lot of goals. And even when we played them, we were terrible away to them, away to Sassuolo. But they leave a lot of space. Like they left a crazy amount of space. But that game, we were just awful. Like on a technical level, that was one of the poorest game I've seen in years. And I think everybody remembered that match reaction. And I think somebody in the chat said, that's the worst game on a technical level I've seen Juve play ever. I've seen probably worse, but that was on a technical level poor. But Sassuolo are a team that leave a lot of space. They do concede a lot of goals. They're not good at the back, like absolutely not good at the back. They actually never have been, if I'm being completely honest. But if you compare that to ours, well, that's it's very obvious. We on our day and on their day, we kind of create the same amount of chances basically. However, they concede the same amount of chances as well. And if you flip that with us, we do not concede a lot of chances. Maybe the last couple of weeks, you can discuss that, or you can say that we have been creating, we have been conceding quite a lot of chances. But other than that, I think after that Sassuolo game, funnily enough, things changed for us as a team. Not just the back line, but just as a whole, as a team, and we became much more solid than previously, obviously. Now let's move on to. I'll start the live from the beginning. Fine, or you can rewatch it. Whatever you do, just hit that like button. So Sassuolo on the season, like I said, 19 games played. I will show you another stat on the like after this one, because I was like, man, they are having a horrible season, and actually, if you just look at the stats, they're not having a good season. Away from home, like they average a point a game basically, which is, well, it's not good. It's actually poor if you're being completely honest. They lost 10 games. And I am surprised a little bit, because I do think they have a better squad than what they're showing now. However, the way they play, and even the game we played against them, on that regard, you're not really surprised. It was just we had a very poor game that weekend basically. But they average a point per game, which is a draw per game basically, which is not good. However, this one was interesting because I was like, man, that's a horrible season basically. However, last season at this point, yeah, like just look at it. Like they were even worse last season. And I cannot recall that, if I'm being completely honest. I blanked that completely out. So they actually improved on last season, and maybe I forgot last season. I don't even remember where they actually finished last year. However, compared to last season, they're having a better season. The only difference is they concede more goals, 4 more, but they also scored almost 10 more. So it's a weird one with Sassuolo, if I'm being completely honest. But on this season, just in general, that's a team you should easily be beating, without any real issues. It should. Goal scored away, home, it's the same thing. Like I said, conceded. Like I said, 33 goals conceded in 19 games. That's just a lot. That's almost 2 goals a game. 1.7. Like that's quite a lot of goals to concede. We scored 2 again against them. We conceded 4, obviously, which bumped their numbers up a little bit on both sides. However, they do concede so much. Which game was it? Even the Inter game, they won. Like they conceded so much, in my opinion. Space. Inter were also terrible on the day, which is a bit weird. However, they gave up so much space to run into, and I don't get why they don't. I don't understand why they are not adjusting to it, because it's clearly not working. They lack quality. Okay, I get that, but I think they're lucky that Salernitana and those teams are much worse than them. Otherwise, they would be in big trouble this season, because they do lack quality at the back. 100% sure. Yeah, that's just an overview of the season. But the funny thing is, failed to score is only 22%. So only one out of 5 games they failed to score. And it's actually better than the league average, which is interesting. So they usually get their goals. They usually get most of the time they are getting a goal, which is also interesting, to be honest. But yeah, just in general, Sassuolo, like I said. Let me get this one up again. Okay. Yeah, we need to respond to Inter. They won, and they won in a convincing fashion. I've seen everybody say the penalty and the offside and all those things. However, they won in a very convincing fashion, in my opinion. A team that has played, not their best football so far. Inter. It's a very strange one with Inter, because at times I'm like, yeah, they're clicking into gears, and then the following week you're like, what's that rubbish, kind of, considering the squad and the players you have, that should be much better. But Inter won. If you want to keep up pace, and they are going to where are they playing the Supercoppa? Is that Saudi Arabia that they're playing the Supercoppa? I think so. They play Thursday or Friday, one of those days. So you need to put pressure on them. You do that by winning now, winning on the weekend, and you have that game in hand. Also winning the following one, obviously the following 2-1, and go into that Inter game with some big time pressure on them. Put them under pressure, even if it's fake pressure because of the game in hand, whatever. It's still pressure. It really is. So. Will we win? We should. Let's go over the potential lineup. There are some injuries, suspensions, obviously, and there are going to be decisions that probably a lot of you are going to look at and are going to be like, yeah, whatever. At this point, it is what it is. But Chesney, I think that's standard that Chesney starts. Also, people like the video. Hit that like button now. Let's go. Get to 40 likes. Thanks everybody who is watching, by the way. Appreciate it. Bremer is going to start, obviously. And then the funny thing, which actually it wasn't funny, it got me pissed, because in Allegri's presser, he spoke about, I have one doubt, or like I have a couple of doubts, but he said one of my doubts is if I'm going to play Rugani or Alexandro. I forgot Alexandro was back from injury, by the way. But that got me pissed, because I don't know what the idea is. Like, it's confusing. Alexandro is gone next season. He is going to leave. We are going to move him on. He's not going to sign a new deal, Alexandro. And fine, he should be gone a couple of years ago, in my opinion. But whatever. He's here, and he's gone at the end of the season, hopefully. Rugani has been playing extremely well this season. And actually, if you look at Danilo's performances lately, or Gatti's performances, I think a lot of people are looking at Rugani and are like, wow, you're being hard done here, because actually, based on your performance and based on the other performances, you should be actually getting a starting position, or the bare minimum, you should be getting more minutes. Now, when Allegri said, and people say, oh, he's just lying and he's not, he's not serious. He is serious when it comes to Alexandro. When you are thinking about benching a player, you're actually trying to hand out a new deal because you want him to stay over the player that's not going to be here in a couple of months. And actually, in these last couple of months, he will probably miss half of those games with injuries. Like, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to get, I don't want to wish injury on any player, but I can put a lot of money on it. Alexandro is gonna get injured in this next couple of months. It's just gonna happen. So the fact that he's actually thinking about, should I play the player who's gone next season, who's been played poorly? He's probably not thinking the poorly part, you know, or should I be playing Rugani, who we are trying to keep at the club because he has a certain value? It's ridiculous that that's actually a thought process for Allegri. It actually is because the Rugani has proven this season that he can play in a back three, no issue. I don't know what Alexandro offers that that Allegri looks at and he's like, that's actually fantastic. I absolutely do not get it. On the ball, he is mid. He doesn't do anything out of the ordinary. He's just very basic. Actually, the frustrating thing with him is he slows play down so much, especially when he passes midfield. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Defensively, it's not that he has many errors this season, but on the flip side, he hasn't played many games, so there's no opportunity to make errors, which is a good thing. But if you look back at the last couple of years, you can make a 2-minute compilation of the amount of times he gets beat at the second post or he just is completely out of position. He's done as a player. He's finished. He shouldn't be playing. You play Alexandro when you have absolutely nobody. We play once a week. When you have, I don't know how many injuries and you have absolutely nobody left, then fine. You play Alexandro because, hey, it is what it is. But if I know what the score, do you want to know the score? I have it on. I don't need to know it. I have it on. No surprise here, but I have it on my side. It's not looking good. Probably going to bed early. Not going to watch that until 2 a.m. But Alexandro should not be playing unless we are in a complete injury crisis and absolutely nobody is available. Other than that, you play Rugani if you want to rest one of the other threes, But that's that. I do expect that Rugani is going to play, by the way. So that was a kind of a rant for not for nothing, because I do think like if Alexandro is in that starting 11 tomorrow, I don't think nobody will be like, oh my God, what just happened? I think everybody will look at it and will be like, yeah, makes sense, that Alexandro is starting. Makes absolutely sense that he's starting. So that's that. Danilo is also going to start, in my opinion. I'm just going off latest reports and my feeling, by the way. Then Locatelli, because we do not have Henderson. That's that. McKennie is suspended, excuse me. So Miretti, and I think Miretti deserves to start based on this last couple of performances as well. Rabiot, I don't know, a bit of a mystery the last couple of days in terms of the reporting on that one. However, I do think, I don't think Allegri is going to not play him tomorrow. I don't think he's going to do that. I think if he has the slight indication that he's fit enough, he will play Rabiot, and I also think Rabiot will be played, because otherwise I think it will be an issue a little bit, because the way Allegri sets up, and you will see that on the with the different ones, with the different lineups, the different players coming in, you are gonna need Rabiot in that game as well tomorrow. So yeah, that's that. So Rabiot, Locatelli, Miretti on the wing. What I think is going to happen, I don't think he's going to play Wea. I just have a feeling that he's going to play Cambiasso. And actually, Cambiasso has been playing well. So that's that. Kostic, 100%. You can pin that down. 100% he's going to play Kostic. And then Vlahovic, who I think he deserves to start, but there's absolutely nobody left as well. So Vlahovic, and then as well Yildiz, because I don't think Chiesa's fit. I think we all can know. Nor do I think. I think the report suggests that Chiesa is absolutely not fit enough. And it's a weird one. Remember when he got injured, and I said, what did Nikoshiro tweet about McKennie, about Keane? I actually don't care anymore. Like, just like, wake me up when Keane is gone or when he's staying, because yeah, whatever, Actually, that Nikoshiro tweet is just It's just an old one recycled, basically. It's the same news. There's nothing concrete at this moment in time. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. I still find it very odd. We could leave you alone. The Italian forward will prefer to enforce club if he left her in. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird situation when it comes to that one. I'm still very confused with all that's going on with the Keane one. But that's the lineup I think he's going to put out there. And I don't think he has many other options. I think Gatti is not playing that well. So if he benches him, good. Chiesa's not fit. McKennie is out as well. Actually, I'm probably mistaken. I think I'm lying. Isn't let me. Who was suspended for this game, by the way? Somebody in the chat, help me out. McKennie was suspended, and who was suspended as well? I think Gatti was suspended, right? Gatti was suspended. McKennie and Gatti. Now, Gatti doesn't deserve to play anyway, so that's that, by the way. It was Gatti, McKennie. I was thinking about Locatelli again, not sure why. But yeah, Gatti was suspended. And even if he wasn't suspended, I would have rested Gatti anyway because I don't think he's playing particularly well this season. If I'm being 100% honest, or not this season, but like the last couple of months, it looks a bit iffy in my opinion. It looks a bit off. It looks a bit weird. But Rugani does deserve to start. At what point, I'm not. What about Weah on the right and Cambiasso on the left? Okay, I mean, do you think he's gonna bench Kostic? We've had this conversation. He's not gonna bench Kostic. If I would do it, I would play Ealing Jr. I think he deserves a goal again. So does Cambiasso. I get that. I'm not saying Cambiasso doesn't deserve to start, but if Kostic got 1,000 options or chances, to not prove himself, then at what point is Junior getting a fair run, or a fair opportunity? He's not getting that, so that's why they put Kostic. Because does anyone, let me know in the chat, does anyone believe he's not gonna start Kostic tomorrow? Anyone in the chat? So let me know, because I just don't see a scenario where he's benching Kostic tomorrow. By the way, I just don't see it. Thanks everyone for watching. Hit that like button because 40 people are watching, only 20 likes, and the goal is 40. So push that like button. Kostic downfall needs to be studied from arguably our best player last season to Alexander 2.0. I think last season he wasn't bad. Like it was kind of the same thing, but he was getting a lot of assists, and that's what I've always said. Stats will make people forget a couple of things, but he wasn't electric. However, he wasn't this poor. Now he's actually poor. Like off the ball, on the ball, it's just nothing's coming off for him, and I actually feel for him at this point. I'm actually feeling for Kostic at this point because Allegri just chucking him out there, and it's not working, and it's actually getting worse with the games passing, and I'm like, I think he just needs to sit out, and clear his head, and actually think about what he's absolutely not doing this season. That should be happening, and it's not happening. So he will play. Like he will probably have one of those good performances here and there because I don't think he's gonna play like this from now until the end of the season. So we'll have the odd good game here and there, but as of now, I think he has a feeling in terms of I'm playing, and I'm probably good. I don't think I'm not really sure if he understands how poorly he has been playing because he has been playing poorly. I don't think he understands that. I don't think he will understand that if he keeps getting picked every single week. Even when he makes mistakes, he's getting picked. When he gets subbed off from the Salernitana game, Allegri comes out and he was like, it was a technical choice because he was in yellow. He was bad. Like that's why you subbed him off. Just say what it is. Saying like he wasn't in the game. I see Peps say that all the time. He wasn't in the game. That's fair. Like you cannot always have a good game. But yeah, I agree. He dropped a little bit. He dropped a lot. this season compared to last season. He dropped a lot, in my opinion. But let's go to the final part of the show. If I have it open over here. I think he will be sold in the summer. I kind of have that same feeling. But let's go to what I think we need. Um, I'm not expecting a 7 out of game for Chesney because that means we would have played an extremely poor game, or he would have saved the pen in the last minute, out of nowhere. So that's that. I'm just expecting just a standard game. Like this game should be, and people know how I do my rating, by the way. So 6 is not terrible. But this game should be quite a straightforward game. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park, I don't think it's going to be an easy, game from start to finish that we're going to dominate and we're going to score, I don't know, 5, 6 goals. Like, I'm not expecting that type of game. However, yes, you need to respect Sassuolo, but that respect kind of needs to disappear the moment, the whistle gets blown, because you are the better team. You are at home. You are pushing for that title. Inter won. You need to respond. That team out there, what I believe is going to get picked, is good enough to beat Sassuolo. It should be more than good enough to beat Sassuolo. I know the last game wasn't fantastic, I guess. It wasn't great in the league, by the way, not in the Coppa Italia, just in the league, because the Coppa Italia is, I don't know what it is. It's something completely different, different vibe, different mindset, whatever. But just in the league, the last game against Salernitana wasn't good. We won it, you take it, but it wasn't a good game overall. It was actually a very poor game, from start to finish, if I'm being completely honest. The first half was maybe imbalanced, but we didn't put pressure on a relegation side. And that's a big issue, even with 10 men. So I'm expecting a response in the league. I'm going to go with, actually, I was thinking about 2-1, but I'm going with 2-0. I'm going to say... Yildiz and Bremer get the goal. I'm going to say Bremer and Yildiz. So that's my prediction. 2-1. Bremer, Yildiz. Let's see what will happen tomorrow. Probably some other changes in the formation usually happens. One surprise, from the chef, from Allegri. But that's my prediction. 2-1. We need to win 100%. We need to keep that feeling going, because this month is... Let me bring it up because I was at work today and I was looking into it, and let me see, because I don't want to misquote. Oops. Here we go. So this month, by the way, like it was in the league, Salernitana, obviously in the league. Then now it's Sassuolo. Then you play Lecce away from home. You come back to Empoli at home. Then you have Inter. That's the big game. That's the focal point, because you need to win out with a game in hand, probably, I think, unless the calendar change and Inter are going to get that game in hand from the Supercoppa before we play them. Other than that, when you go to Inter, when you need to make a big statement, in my opinion, you have Verona away, you have Frosinone at home, then it becomes tough, because then you have Napoli, Atalanta, Genoa, Lazio in the cup, Fiorentina, Torino. That's a crazy stretch, and it doesn't get better after that, because then you have one game off, basically, Cagliari away from home, which isn't a walk over as well for us lately. Then you have Lazio in the cup again, and then the last games of the season are Milan at home, Roma away, Salernitana at home, Bologna away, and you finish on Monza. So I think this is the easiest stretch. Then you have a weird stretch with a little 1-2 break into it, and then you have 2 games, and maybe towards the end of the season you have a little stretch again to close it out. But now is when you need to rack up the pressure. Go into the Inter game with a win, possibly go top. But if you lose, it potentially could be the quote unquote end mentally. But this is the month to actually put pressure on Inter heading into that game, and then heading into them playing Europe and we not. So no excuses. We need to absolutely win tomorrow. Let me read out a few comments before I leave. Gonna watch some NFL. Not that it's going well. We need to also win by 2 goals difference because the last time in Serie A it was a 2-0, 3-0. Is it? Was the last time we had 2 goals difference? Was it Torino in the league? Frosinone. Could be. Could actually be. Which is actually quite crazy. 3-1 Yildiz Cambiaso Duzan. We have 3 games before Inter's next. We can get 4 points lead, although they have 2 games in hand. Is it? But we have 2 games in hand before they play again. I thought 1. I thought we play on the weekend and they do not play on the weekend. So 1 game and next weekend they play again. I thought it was 1 game. Is it really 2 games? I really believed it was 1 game. So I'm mistaken, but that's actually even better. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Thanks everybody for watching. Like the video, subscribe. 40 likes is a goal, so hit that like button now. Or if you're rewatching, I'll be back tomorrow with a daily in the morning, but also with a match reaction. Hopefully with a win, because we absolutely need that win tomorrow. And I think we're gonna get that. But yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow, and then Wednesday for a post-game live show breakdown with some members on, 2 of them as well on Wednesday. So stay tuned for that.